Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming, and this is Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 Finale Countdown. Yes, we have made it through an entire season of Fear, start to finish. We have not done that. We've started it, and then the episodes got a little wacky in previous seasons, and we kind of went off topic a little bit. But we have made it. 16 episodes down tonight. Here we are. Going to have a lot of fun with this one. We are going to talk some spoilers tonight, so I'll give you some warnings right before we do. These are a little bit shorter streams. I just want to say thank you. Appreciate you guys being patient during the week. We did not stream on Thursday in case you guys were hunting for a stream, but we are going to be streaming full force all this week. So we got this one tonight. We're going to be doing a reaction 10:15. We've got tomorrow all week long. We're going to be doing streams. We're going to be doing a countdown to The Walking Dead and wrapping up Fear. So I'm going to give you the events that are going to happen tonight, and then once again, we will kind of give this a pre-episode rating, and we'll go back in our reaction video and talk about it. It's going to be a lot of action tonight, I will tell you that, and the verdict's out. As I go through and read it, you can kind of get into the emotional phase of how you think the episode's going to play out. There's going to be some things that we miss. I don't, Maggie. I don't have a cold. I think I'm just... well, maybe I am coming down with a cold. I don't feel like I have a cold. Do I sound a little bit different? Am I nasally? I'll wait for a couple reactions there. Maybe it'll clear up. You know what? I haven't done a stream in 3 days, so that could be it. Okay, well... Sorry if I'm a little nasally. I did have a couple of beverages last night. Maybe that's it. Oh, maybe that's my deeper voice. All right, let's get into it tonight. Well, maybe some people say I'm normal. Some people say it's different. Who knows? It could be on my end or your end. So let's talk about what goes down tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun with this episode. We're going to get the group back together. I did give a couple of hints. I am not... Thanks, drama. Valar making it in. You know what? Thank you. Thank you for that diversion, Valar. So Valar with a super chat says, hello, 99 Army. Kill Steph, Emmy, Kale, Sweet Tommy sponsors, patrons, and, of course, all the super chatters. You guys are absolutely amazing. So here we go. If you're still in chat, then I'm assuming that you want to know what's going to go down tonight. We'll react to it. So these spoilers are courtesy of Spoiling Dead's fan page. And some of their members really don't like me. I will tell you that. Some people sent me a couple messages, and I guess there's entire streams or chats on their forum devoted to me, and it's not in the most friendly manner. I don't think I have a lot of fans over there. But I will go on record to say this before we get started. That's why people come to this channel and they talk real time, because we don't troll and we don't leave comments that stay on people's websites, and we don't talk a bunch of crap about other people. That's what we're all about. So there you go. You guys, sorry. It's pretty negative stuff over there. But anyway, let's get into tonight's episode, and we do want to thank them for the work that they do. So tonight's episode begins with, we get Al. So Althea is back in full effect, and she's fighting off walkers. And get this, the irony. So last week, they found a fire truck, and they came back. They were able to rescue people. Well, tonight, Althea's going to find a news van. Imagine that. A reporter finds a news van with video equipment. So that might be our coincidence of the week. We've talked about how convenient the writing has been. Just got a little bit more convenient, didn't it? So what goes down with Al? So Al, she hotwires the van, and then she goes back to the hospital. And guess who she encounters at the hospital? This is wild coincidence number 2. So, if... I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Everybody has had an interaction with Martha, right? I mean, I'm trying... No, not Madison. No, not Madison. Good guess, though. So, Martha had interaction with Morgan. Then Martha had interaction with the whole group, and then Martha had interaction with Charlie and Alicia, and then Martha had, now she has interaction with Althea again. So you cannot get rid of her. It's like, she is like a superhuman. So Martha has been beaten, shot, everything's happened to her, but she gets the upper hand on Althea tonight, and she knocks her out. So this part, I don't know if you guys are going to like this, but I'm going to go ahead. It's very convenient, but stay with me. Just stay with me a little bit. So it says the next thing is Al wakes up in her van, and she's surrounded by the group. So Martha didn't even hurt her, but instead, I guess she sent Morgan a video message using the video camera that Al had found. So I don't know how she's going to do that, but that's apparently what they're saying is going to go down. So I am looking forward to seeing how that goes down. So Al finds a news van with video equipment and then knocks out Althea, but finds a way to message Morgan and then finds them, so they all meet up. Sounds crazy, but Martha is crazy. So, but they do have to get back together because we do have to have this Martha and Morgan showdown at some point. So the plan was for Morgan and the rest of the group to rendezvous back at the truck stop in Mississippi, and then they're going to go to Alexandria. But Morgan wants to try to help Martha. So think about this for a minute. Morgan must be phasing in and out. I don't know why Morgan still wants to help Martha, but he does. So Morgan finds her, and then he handcuffs her to the back of a police car he finds. Then they start heading to Mississippi. So I know. So people want to know, how does Morgan get the, I lose myself magic marker or Sharpie marker? So when they're in the police car, this is when Morgan goes back to help him out. Martha fakes being sick, which causes Morgan to crash the police car they're in. How many single car accidents are we going to have in a zombie apocalypse? So this would definitely be a callback to, I think, the Eugene getting sick, right, in The Walking Dead. So apparently Martha fakes being sick, and then Morgan crashes, and Morgan gets knocked out. So already in this episode, that's why I said there's a lot of action. Apparently, Althea gets knocked out by Martha, and then Morgan gets knocked out. So then when he's out, she writes that on his forehead. She also, at this point, here we go. This is where, you guys ready? This is super spoiler. She tells Morgan that she's been bit, and she did it intentionally. So Martha got herself bitten just so Morgan would not be able to save her. So Martha has already figured, it's over for me, and you know what? I'm just going to get a little bit of last revenge on Morgan. Seems a little petty, but yeah. So Morgan is using the radio, and he gets in touch with June. So it gets a little worse. The other group made it back to Mississippi. They made it back to the truck stop, and they're swigging away, and they start getting sick because, and I have not researched this, but apparently Martha had put antifreeze in the water in the truck stop. So he leaves Martha handcuffed to the car and starts to go to Mississippi on foot. Now earlier, and this is jumping around a little bit, so I am going to jump around, not my spoiler, someone else's, but apparently at some point in the episode, Morgan does kill Jim, so he puts Jim down. And the big question people want to know is who gets hurt, who dies. So at the end of the episode, Morgan and the rest of the group go back for Martha. And apparently she had cut her own arm off to escape. They said this is a callback to Merle. But Morgan sees her in the distance and discovers that she's already turned. And Morgan puts her down and buries her. So we've got Jim that's going to die. We got Martha who got bit. And Morgan has to kill her and bury her. And that's why I said a part of Morgan is going to die, because Morgan is going to realize that he can't save her. So you got to know this is going to affect him going into the next season. So a couple follow-up questions is, what is the very ending of the episode? The group decides to use Clayton's journals to find his supply caches and continue the good work they've started. So apparently they're going to just go around and help people. Now, this is very, very important, because originally they were going to go to Alexandria, and now Morgan says he just wants to stay here and do some good deeds. So if Morgan wants to do good deeds, he says they can go to Alexandria, and they all decide to stay with Morgan. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. One last tidbit is apparently when they drink antifreeze, they're poisoned. And the remedy to that apparently is ethanol, which is the alcohol that Jim had made. So Morgan says that Jimbo saves the group with Jimbo's beer bow. So they're poisoned, and the beer will actually save their life. So nice little touch, a nice little bit of irony, a nice tribute to Jim. But they're not heading to Alexandria. I feel a little slighted. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead, based on everything that I told you, I'm going to ask you the season finale, based on those spoilers I've just given you. If it does play out like that, that's not going to be everything. And, we hope that, that's not spoiler site screwing around. It seems believable. Give me a rating from a 1 to a 10. And then I'll give you what I think my rating is for this episode. And tonight, we're actually going to wrap up the season. And we're going to talk about just some different events and what we feel about the season. So I see 7.5. I see Uncle with an 8. Some 7s, 8.5. Dawn of the Franks says 6. Ron Burgundy, 6. A few 8s. Emmy says a 9. If Emmy gives it a 9, it's not going to be very good. 7. All right, so I see some numbers coming in. I'm going to give this a 6. This is the lowest episode that I've rated in the entire season. Out of respect, I'm not going to go under 5. But I'm going to give it a 6. Tonight's episode seems far, far too coincidental. I love a little bit of coincidence. I love a little bit of corny writing. I like myself, some of the callbacks. But the back and forth with Morgan, he goes back to help her and chains her up. Then he and the group go back again. Apparently they go back twice, if I'm reading that correctly. That's a little bit much. The fact that Martha keeps running into everybody, that bothers me a bit, I got to tell you. I am looking for some Walking Dead. I got to tell you. The semi-comedy approach to Fear the Walking Dead has been okay for me. I like some of the character development. We'll see how everything goes down tonight. But the fact that I remember when we did the preview for number 1, number 2, number 3, and we started talking about Morgan, Morgan's there. And before Morgan even made the announcement, I think it was in episode number 2 afterwards, where Morgan was talking about Alexandria. We talked in our first predictions in episode number 1 and said, why is Morgan going back? He's going to be the shepherd to lead them back to Alexandria. So they've been throwing that out there to us for several months now, for 3 months. And the fact that they're not going to do it, I got to be honest, just kind of, it pisses me off a little bit. I feel like I was a little bit slighted. I feel like I was a little bit lied to. That they kind of wrote it to Morgan of, okay, he's going back, then they got a journey, they're going to take him back. Yes, they get stuck, they find all these, they get slowed down because they want to do these good Samaritan deeds and help the world. And now I just feel like, why not? Why not go back? It's only a 2-day drive. And Pete D, I agree with that. So Pete D, with that super chat, them not going back to Alexandria is ridiculous. They strung us along. Because, look, they're not in Bolivia. They're a few states down. They're a 2-day drive to Virginia. Now, I know, there's things that happen along the way, like when the group tried to get from Atlanta, it took them several years. But I don't think I'm going to like that tonight, and I don't think when we do the reaction video, I'm going to be real pleased. Samantha, I feel like that to a certain degree, that they did kind of string us along a little bit, and that was to get us to watch. Morgan's there. They brought Morgan in to sort of jazz it up a little bit, and then Morgan trying to get back to see Rick. So I'm going to if Rick dies, I'm going to blame Morgan. If Morgan consciously chooses tonight not to go back to Alexandria, and something happens to Rick and Morgan is not there to help, I'm going to blame him, because John Dory can shoot. So if Morgan would have brought all them back, then maybe in the comic universe, Rick would still, or the television Walking Dead universe, Rick would still be alive. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Like I said, I don't want to go full angry mode, but now that we're at the end of the season, I can definitely I can blame people. See, I was very hesitant to blame any characters for what they were doing on The Walking Dead, because, there's a lot of coincidence and convenient. But, it's going to be, 6 months? It'll be 6 months before we see Fear the Walking Dead again after tonight. And I'm just wondering what the next story is going to be. And it looks as if they're going to be the good guys. They're going to be the people out there trying to find people and give food. Now, don't get me wrong. This approach, if they have a group of Samaritans that are out there, I'm not saying I won't get around this approach, because we're so used to seeing survival and people, killing each other in order to survive. And now this is interesting. You do have a group of people who they feel like they owe it to the world to make up for what they've done. And I do appreciate that storyline. Now, how it's going to play out and who they're going to run into and how many times they're going to be taken advantage of by people and try to help people like Martha who might not be able to be helped is going to be very interesting for season number 5. So, but I'm not putting the final nail in the coffin yet on Fear the Walking Dead. I want to see tonight's episode. As I said, I'm rating it a 6. I'm going to give you a few different criteria that would make me like tonight's show a little bit more, some things that I want you to look for. And it's not the villain mode, because I feel like when we do the rating for the season, I think they had an attempt at making Mel into a villain that failed. I think they had an attempt at making Martha into a villain that has pretty much going to fail after a few episodes. So it does seem like they're just a traveling group out there trying to help wherever they can. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Yep, I agree. Some really good comments. So we went through the entire spoiler. So here's just a couple things that would help me. No, Denise, it's not on Rick. Well, it could be on Rick. But we don't know how he's going to die yet. And every little bit helps. I mean, certainly if the Fear crew could get back up there, they might be at a point where they could save Rick. And I'm speaking completely hypothetical at this point. But let me just give you a couple other things that I'm going to look for tonight that would make the show better. And I would rate it a little bit higher. So, 1, apparently it's going to be a mini cliffhanger, but not in the typical sense of the word. So, if they pave a path for next season. So if there's a good path paved for next season, and I feel like I can buy on to season 5 as far as a transitional type of episode, I will I will give it a little bit more credibility. If Lucy died, I would definitely... Lucy needs to leave. Lucy's got to go. See, that's the part of it, is that they're going to have characters hanging around that I just don't know what is in store for them next season. So I would give them some bonus points for that. If something truly epic happens, like never before seen, then those are the only two criteria I'm looking for. Jim's going to die. We're paying tribute to Jim. I will say this, that the one thing that I liked about Fear the Walking Dead a month ago is that they had these little pieces of irony that, oh, well, that happened because of this, and that's really cool. Tonight might be overboard, so I could go a little bit lower than a 6 if they'd really just make it super corny. The gator was like one of the coolest things I thought all season long. But in tonight's reaction video, we will go back and we will talk about some of the best highlights from tonight's stream and also from the entire season. So I just read you the spoilers, so let's reserve a little bit of judgment at this point. Grab your popcorn, grab your snacks. What are you guys munching on tonight? This is the finale, so let's have some fun with it, even if it's a little bit corny. Look, we are Walking Dead fans. We are Fear the Walking Dead fans. We made it through an entire season. Last season, when we were doing some of these streams, we got a third of the audience talking about the show. So even though it's better, it's much, much better, and I want to say thank you to all of you guys for being here and just sticking this out for the entire season. I think the show's been good. The chat and the interaction has been phenomenal. So I'm going to ask you guys right now. The countdown streams, the reaction videos, the coverage from the 999 Army, if you guys had to rate this season from a 1 to a 10, what would you give yourselves and give the entire group? I'm going to give everybody in here a 10 because I think you have been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for everything that you guys have done for Fear the Walking Dead season. I'm looking forward to an awesome reaction video tonight at 10:15, and I'm looking forward to a really, really good season of The Walking Dead that is right around the corner. So thanks, everybody. Go grab your snacks, get ready for the show, and I will see everybody back here at 10:15. No shout-outs tonight, but we'll do some shout-outs later on tonight in a reaction video. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody who's here, and I'll see you soon. Peace.